Hey everyone, Hans here. Hope everyone's doing well. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that's been hanging in the air for a while now, and I'm gonna talk a bit about the gods. Why not? I've not done that yet on my channel, as far as I remember. A bit of mention here and there, but not really a video devoted to it. It's gonna be one of half an hour, I'm pretty certain, so bear with me, I guess, or watch it in pieces, do as you see fit. And which gods? Which gods? Odin and Wodan. And maybe a third one that is unnamed as far as I'm aware. Now am I going to do the whole cliche thing and lay out, oh well, Odin is this guy and Wodan is that guy? Nah, everyone knows who Odin is. And everyone knows who Wodan is. At least in the more general concept. And I'm just gonna lay out how I look at things, what inspiration they brought for me. Maybe others will find that interesting, maybe not. But I wanted to do it for a time. I've had some people ask me, and I suppose you let me know if it's appreciated or not. So, where do we begin? Odin. Odin's inspiration to me is not about his spear-wielding abilities or his horse riding. It's not about the runes, and it's not necessarily about any magical abilities that he has. It's about his sense of responsibility that really appeals to me. The All-Father. Now, of course, you have these political infiltrants who try to poison that term. But let's cut to the chase. If All-Father would have any genetic meaning to it, which I don't necessarily think it has in the large scale of things, he's the All-Father of the Germanic tribes, or the Scandinavian tribes at very minimum, which is fair. To me, though, the term All-Father means something different. It's a description of a sense of responsibility towards his people. He cares. That's what probably made him a god in the first place. That's what helped him reach apotheosis. He wants to do the right thing for his people. That's what he does and why he does it. For me, that is deeply inspiring. To just say out of yourself, without owing anyone anything. Yeah, I'm gonna do right by my people. That is huge. That's that's character, if you will. And it's something that I would definitely have been emulating and want to emulate to the best of my abilities. I care too. I love people. I really do. Sure, are there going to be these rotten apples? Yeah. And me personally, I have no compulsion to extend my goodwill to them, if I can rather extend it to those who have good hearts, healthy spirits. And it's not even just the Germanics, it's for all Hyperboreans, all Europeans, all whiteys, whatever you want to call it. And no, that doesn't mean that I am antagonistic towards non-whites. They are just their people, and they have to take responsibility for themselves, as whites have to take responsibility for their own. Nature is a thing. Accept it already, or I guess become one of these political lunatics. There is little else to say to that. But yeah, that sense of responsibility to protect your people, but also, not just that, not just be a physical force, but protect them through wisdom, through knowledge. Impart knowledge unto others, not just seek it for yourself. That's how I interpret Odin too, in a certain way. Or that is what the deity inspires me to do. I think it's fair enough. And then you might say, well, but why not the spear-wielding abilities? Why not the horse riding? Why not the the cool magical abilities? Well, That's where there is another god that's inspiring for me in that sense. And that other god is Wodan. Now I know many people say they are both the same one. I've thought it for a while as well. But I think it's far more interesting if they're separate. And I suppose in the afterlife I'll find out whether I was right or wrong. It doesn't matter either way, and in the sense that I care and I'm gonna do right by my own. That's what the gods in large part are for. I would like to think it's not to consider them our masters that we have to obey. You can even disagree with them, but they are an inspiration. I think that's fair enough. I've not been struck by lightning yet, so I've not been speared down, so I think it's fair. Like some divine spear from the sky that lands right in my abdomen or something. Not a thing. I hope it stays that way. But yeah, Wodan. Wodan is another inspiration. He has more so that fighting aspect, I guess. And what do I mean with that? It's the will to keep on going. Yeah, the will to survive. Wodan, one of his nicknames, as I look at him, is the Furious One, and he is known like that by others too. He is the fury. He is the will to keep on going, no matter how the situation turns out. Actually, when do you call upon that? Is that, for example, in life or death situations? And it's in life or death situations, most people they go in either two directions. If they're from European descent, from Hyperborean descent, they stiffen up and they do nothing, kind of like a prey animal. It's just like, I hope this is keeping quiet will let the predator walk past me. Or, and this is I would like to think Wodan's influence is, it's where something in the mind snaps. The questions about life, the morality of everything, all of it takes a step back. It's not gone. It just takes a step back. And it's about, yeah, now we need to survive, so we're gonna start becoming a little bit animalistic here. It's the apex that comes out, if you will. Even if it's just briefly. And it's also known as berserking, I guess, for some. And yeah, it's that moment where it's do or die, rather than lay down or die. Maybe I should turn that around and say die or do. Yeah, doesn't that sound better? Die or do? I think so. And I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I have been in life or death situations, and I got to say, having such a powerful and ancient deity to inspire you, that gets you places. I'm still here, you know. If it was up to the other guy, I wouldn't have been. And that's all I say about that. But yeah. Wodan is also not so much bound to court like Odin is. Not so much bound to social circles. I mean, can you imagine a character like Wodan in a social circle? He'd be the party animal, alright, but once the party is done, yeah, you'd have to repair half the house. And you might be like, okay, buddy, back to the woods. Because I do not mention any of these names slightly either. Not at all. They are both deities you need to be very careful with. Especially, I would say Wodan, but both of them. Because they can overwhelm. They can be overwhelming. Very easily, even. You just look at some random dude that just loses it. Like a random white guy who is so fed up with all the victimizations on whites, for example, and he just starts shouting and lashing around and starts maybe even throwing stuff. Well, that's maybe a bit of a tantrum, but like, yeah, if the energy that comes from Woden, if you will, it can serve a lot of good. It can save lives. It can also be a bit of a destructive force. I guess with Odin it's kind of the same. I mean, I kind of pity these fools who keep saying, "Oh, hail Odin, die with sword in your hand." It's like, you're gonna get what you're saying, dude, but you're not gonna like it when it comes by. I mean, if you keep it up long enough. You're not impressing anyone. If in fact, I mean, just imagine being Odin yourself and you have like these drunks who are constantly shouting that at every party they're at. How long would it take for you to get tired of it? I mean, let's get real here for a minute, right? And it's this, yeah, Woden is not so much used, and I actually find that very interesting. It's on some primal level, I think, or on some basic level, most whites know well enough not to do that. That is just asking for trouble if you do it lightly. They, yeah. Because if you invoke the names of the gods, well, if you try to attract their attention, that is always something you have to do with care. It doesn't even matter which one, I would argue. They're not necessarily, they care about their people. That's what made them gods. But it doesn't make them your personal buddy necessarily. Doesn't mean you need to bow down before them either. I can't see them respecting that either, because no, whites, the healthy whiteys, which are the vast majority, don't like that. So why would our gods be like that? If they're supposed to be, if they are exemplary to us. Just a thought. Wow, and I actually managed to do it all within 15 minutes thus far. Amazing. So, this third one, the Wanderer archetype. And I cannot give a name to it because I don't know. I mean, Vectam is the name that comes in my head right now. Is it just me? I don't know. But you have this main, like they say, oh, Odin and Woden are the same dude, and then there is still this Wanderer in there, hidden in there too. You might say, well, if you say Woden is a forest spirit, like some ancient primal spirit, that's been with our people since the dawn of our, since the beginning of our race, if you will, already, or has developed very quickly once that set off. Then he could be a wanderer. Certainly possible, and I guess Odin himself, when he leaves court, can go on a stroll. In the stories he definitely goes on travels, right? And people take it as they will. But I don't know. I can't help but wonder about such things. And it's that curiosity, I guess, that I'm inspired with from Odin. No? Is that possible? Again, no divine spears raining from the sky. But yeah, the Wanderer goes around the earth or across the different worlds, goes beyond the veil, the land of the Fae, what have you, and does all kinds of business there with giants and who knows what else. It's all possible, I guess. That's how it's explained in the stories. And what does this wanderer do? Well, he asserts his influences everywhere as well. I suppose that's fine. Could it be either two of, could it be Odin or Woden? Certainly. But maybe there is a third deity there that is really dedicated to that, and all he really does is wander everywhere and just does what he can. Like that's his sole purpose, compared to other gods who have certain purposes that come with them, that they're known for, and once in a while go on a travel. There is no really a god of this or a god of that. There is a lot of overlap in behavior and actions and what have you. It's just, it's like with people. Johnny the plumber is gonna be known for plumbing, even though he swims once in a while. And Benny the swimmer, yeah, maybe he is known for swimming, but maybe sometimes he does the plumbing in his house. if you will. I mean, a bit of a silly example, I guess, but it makes sense now. Both can do the same thing, it's just that one guy is known for the one and the other guy is known for the other, because that's where their specific talents, experience, whatever lies. The natural hierarchy, if you will, decides who is known for what in the end, if people are observant enough in people's ability. Yeah, that's how I see it. Um, so, this wanderer could be a third one. Has it been a bit interesting to people? I hope it has. It's just how I look at it. I think it made sense for me throughout my life. You might say, well, how does that combine? Well, keep in mind, these are only two gods that I really appreciate. There are more. And it's like, it's not because you like a certain god that you need to accept everything about that god. Again, like with a person. Going back to, let's say, let's say, you like someone who is a great cook. You like that person for his or her cooking, but then he or she can also, you know, blabber your ear off, and that you don't like about that person. Or it's just something, or whatever stories. It's not even necessarily so that it needs to go that far. It's just what they talk about doesn't really interest you. Politics, or whatever. It's like you're not interested in politics. It's like, yeah, I like your cooking, but can we? Does it really need to go about politics again? Something like that. Why would it not be the same with the gods as such? Why do you need to like a god and like all about that god? Be it a woman or man or spirit in general. Why would that make sense? And why would they care if you're a bit scrutinizing in which traits about them you like or not so much? They'll probably just be flattered with what you do like about them. I think that's how I would be. Someone be like, hey, I like how Hans as he talks about, as he brings his insights. I appreciate that. But maybe I do not like how Hans dresses. Well, then I'm not gonna get hung up over, oh no, he dislikes how I dresses. No, I dress how I like for me. Sometimes for others, but that's a rarity. But at the same time, I'll still be flattered that people appreciate what I say. Makes sense? And it's the same for everyone with his or her specific skills and talents and experience and what have you. Also, in regards to altars and rituals and all of that stuff, some of my friends from Hilltop Homesteads, Mayo, she seems to be very fond of all that stuff with stones and maybe even having an altar, if I'm correct. I'm sure she can correct me on that. That's all well and good for people who want to do that. Personally, for me, it's not a necessity. I will not oppose people who like to have their altar to whatever gods or goddesses they appreciate, but it wouldn't be for me. I guess for me I guess the results of my deeds are my ritual, if you will. No, not my ritual. I guess my actions to do right by others are my ritual. And I think that is fair enough. I don't need a candle to help someone else if I care about that person. Don't need to lit a specific candle. I don't need to wear something specific. I don't need to have a crown of flowers on my head for any of that. Maybe I'll look prettier though while I'm doing that. Maybe I'll look more mysterious, whatever. But yeah, we all do it in the way that sees fit to us. Maybe there is a purpose to that as well. That's why every one of us does it in a specific way. or some prefer altars and some just like doing stuff. Although that sounds a little bit like I'm just pointing fingers that I'm doing stuff and others aren't. That's not what I mean either. But I think people understand what I'm getting at. If you, how shall I put it? If it's more fulfilling for you to go through ritual and to show your appreciation, yeah, then it's fine. If you don't, well, that's what the people who do make them are for, I guess. Does that make sense? Is that fair enough? Yeah. Yeah. What else is there to talk about in regards to all of this? It's these are gods that have really helped me through life a lot, and I mean it in the best of ways. They have not been the sole thing that I could count upon. They have always been an addition, and a very welcome one, because they are heroes too. They are heroes. They are exemplary. Are they leaders? I suppose to some extent. That doesn't really interest me so much. And I think my expression is also, I think it's healthy enough. I've always been good to others, as best as I could. I've been, and I've always dealt with the rotten apples. How shall one put it? Yeah, I've always honestly put them in their place, where they belonged. Not all of them, some are still due for that. But yeah, what else can one ask? And to some people they might say, well, that's all just superstition, dude. There are no gods or what have you. You're just messing around, or what have you. Or you're just fooling yourself in these things. My life experiences are real enough. And I would even say, well, I mean, it has been such a chewed out excuse for many people to just do villainous things. But I suppose the feelings in regards to the intensity of the intensity of Wodan, the curiosity of Odin, if you will. That is, you can't grab that, you can't smell it, you can't see it. Well, you can see it if you look at my face, I guess. But it's there. It's like a thought. It's like having thoughts in your mind. You can't grab those either. They're only images in the mind. Are they real though? Certainly. So, is it also just superstition? I find that difficult to believe. I truly do. If it all were just superstition, then why does it mean so much for so many who have barely ever heard about them? Can that be explained by the critics? I don't think they fairly could. And as for those who perhaps, may feel a bit of an upset that, oh no, they are, they both or all three are the same deity and blah de blah. Okay, that was a bit disrespectful. It's like, they are the same, god. It's just different names and, because they all have spears and what have you and so forth and so on. Go with that and if it works for you. But then where does the obsession comes from, if you will? That it must be the one. I think it's far more interesting to have many gods rather than the one. Because then you can ascribe more personality to them. If you have just this singular being that is good at everything, it loses all meaning. And it has nothing, that is a thing that has no bearing in nature. Because everything in nature can be talented, is also flawed in other ways. Perfection is not a thing. It's a goal, at best. And it's a fine goal to pursue, because in that pursuit you will get better and better and better, hopefully at what it is that you want to be perfect in. But even then, let's even say you are the perfect artist. Everything that you make looks like it's alive, or what have you. And then maybe you will still be quite a fool when it comes to doing the dishes, or whatever it's going to be. So it's fine, I would argue, if there would be many, if there would be at least 2 gods there, if not more. I think our ancestors, when they came up, when Odin became a thing, when they reached apotheosis, our ancestors must have figured, well, there are anti-whites in the world who are forcing their one god onto us with threats, blackmail, murder, and wars crimes. And we need to do the same thing. We need to merge all our gods into one powerful one as well. And that was a mistake. Because then it becomes easier for that one god to be misrepresented, as Odin has been misrepresented. There is this one story where he is claimed to do a very heinous thing. I will not even speak of it, because it is a disgusting. But then there is an older version of that story where he does nothing of the sort. You know what is interesting though? Where he does the heinous thing? That's written in an abbey several centuries later, after the first story came out. And such things. And then, you make it very easy for slanderers if you just have the one guy that needs to be slandered rather than a million guys, or so to say, or 100. Because here is the thing, people are gonna notice it if that, let's say all your gods, suddenly they're being slandered all over the place, and it's like, where does this keep coming from? You may wonder at some point. With the one, it's just, oh, okay, I guess that's a thing, that's disgusting, I guess I'm not following that one god anymore. And before you know it, you're dislodged from your own deities. As a people. Just a thought. Could be me, I could be full of it. I like to think I'm not, but who knows. Yeah, I hope it's been a bit interesting. Gonna enjoy the rest of the day. Oh yeah, for the Viking series. I know there are some people who are really waiting for it, and it has been months since the last one. I'm really sorry about that. I really am. I want to keep making them, but I'm just so caught up in work and life. This half hour that I've now spent on this video, I don't get anything done for the Viking series in that amount of time. It's very unfortunate, and it's gonna be a while yet. I'm afraid that it's gonna be before I can continue. I will continue though, because I really like making them. And I've gotten nothing but good commentaries. Everyone seems to be very happy with it. So, good news. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the support that I've gotten from people, the thumbs ups and all of that good stuff. The likes, the fun comments. And also how people have been learning a lot already. Many young children too. Parents who seem to be very appreciative that they now learn history for the first time too, and not like how it was in school, where you just got a certain viewpoint pressed on you. But yeah, time is almost up before this machine gives out, so I'm gonna call it one. Yeah, over and about on. Let me know what you think about me talking about gods. There's more out there if you want to, and we'll see what the next one will be about. And you all have a good one, and bye bye.